Hi guys, in my last video of 2020 video that I put out, I said that I was going to do Marvel content. Here it is. I don't think anyone's ever asked for me to do this, but I wanted to do it, so I'm gonna do it. And I am going to be talking about Marvel films, as I said. I'm going to be reviewing all the Marvel movies in order of the plot. Not in order of when they were released, in order of the plot. Because I think that'll make a lot more sense. Because, like, the second one in order of the plot is Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel came out in 2019, and it's now 2021 at the time of filming this. So, yeah. It would be really wonky if I did it, like, filming-wise, so I'm just gonna do it in the time of the, in order of the plot. So, of course, the first one is Captain America, the First Avenger. I love this movie. I don't think there's a way that anyone could hate this movie. I thought the way that they represented the movie was just done really, really well. It's not the best Marvel movie I've seen, but it's still really, really good. I thought that Captain America was cool, or Steve Rogers, whoever you want to say his name as. I thought that Peggy was awesome. I thought that the way that they represented World War II was really cool, because that's something that when I watched this movie I was kind of concerned about, because I was like, how are they gonna show that? But it was done really, really well. I thought that Bucky was awesome. I loved Bucky. I really, really thought that the villain was pretty good. Not my favorite villain, but he's not doing a bad job by any means. He's still great. If someone asked me, hey, do you like that? I would be like, yeah, of course, but I don't know. I think that Red Skull is a pretty good villain. I wouldn't say that, like I said, I wouldn't say he's my favorite Marvel villain, but I also wouldn't say that he's a bad Marvel villain. He's a pretty good Marvel villain. I thought that his acting was really good, and I thought that the way he interacted with the actors was really cool to see in the film. I thought the Tesseract thing was done really, really well. I think for the first movie, for it to be shown, it is explained in a way that makes sense. Because in some Marvel movies that I've seen, it's not explained very well, and if you just watch that Marvel movie, you would be really, really confused. Like, what does this blue block have anything to do with anything? But I think in this movie it was done really well. I think that in the Avengers it's done better, but I don't think it's done bad in this movie. I think it's actually done pretty well and explained in a really good way, and showing why it's really not very good. You don't really go in depth with it. It's mostly just that Red Skull wants it, and that must mean that's bad. If I'm forgetting something, maybe I'm forgetting something, but I don't know. I thought it was a really, really good, cool movie. I thought the costumes were good. I think that Captain America's costume is just so iconic, and it's done really, really, really well. I think that the way that they presented World War II through costumes was done really well. I think that the way all the actors interacted with one another as their characters was done really well. I love Captain America's shield so much, especially when Peggy, like, shoots it when Steve Rogers is like, hey Peggy, is this a good shield? And then she shoots it, and he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's funny. I love that part. And then this end of the movie is just so sad when he goes into the ice, and I know that he's alive because it's shown, like, at the end of the movie, but it's so sad because you're like, no, like, I know he wasn't dead, but, like, it's so sad. So sad. And then when like Peggy and Steve are interacting with each other, and they're like, we can have one last dance and things like that, and then it just stops, and it's a lot. And then at the end, that was a great ending. For if you want more people to come to your movie, it's a great way to end your movie with him waking up, running around and being like, what's going on? And then Nick Fury coming, and I love Nick Fury so much. Fury is great. I love Fury. And he's like, you've been asleep for years. It's so well done. I love it. I just think that Fury is a great character. I love him. Yeah. I think that I've shown my thoughts pretty well. I love the characters, I love the acting, I love the cinematography. I think that the way that they showed like skinny and bulk Steve Rogers was really done really well, because CGI animation and like resculpting a body has to be really hard. And I'll talk more about that in the facts part of this video. And there's a video all about it that I watched that's super interesting that I'll put down in the description of this video. That's a YouTube video that I watched about how they did that, and I thought it was really cool, because I'm gonna scratch the surface on how they did it in this video, but I won't be able to go fully in depth with it or be able to show it to you, so you should go watch that video because it's really awesome. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. I really thought that this movie was great. It's not my favorite Marvel movie, but I don't think it's meaning to be, or like the biggest Marvel movie. I think it's just meaning to be an action movie with Captain America, and some fun times and some laughs and some sadness. And some like, what's going on? No. And I don't think it's supposed to be like the Avengers Infinity War. I think what they wanted it to be was just a fun movie full of action and charm. And I think that they really accomplished that, and that it's just a really cool movie. And I will 100% watch it again. And if you haven't watched it for any reason, what are you doing? You should watch it. It's a great movie. I would 100% recommend it. And now let's go into facts. It's the 5th movie released in the MCU universe. Fans originally were not sure about the film, but then of course people liked it, and that's good. Peggy Carter is played by Haley Atwell, and if you have watched Christopher Robin, she plays Christopher Robin's wife, and she does great in that. Go watch Christopher Robin if you haven't. It's a great movie. Chris Evans turned down the role 3 times, but then Robert Downey Jr. and his family and his friends, he talked to them, and then they're like, yeah, go for it. And then he changed his mind. Wolverine and Magneto almost had cameos, which I can't even imagine, and I'm so happy that they cut that from the film. The Nazi element for Hydra was toned down last minute, which I think it actually works really well, because they say it in the movie, but I think if they overpowered it, it would almost feel kind of like a documentary style thing, and it would it would go more in depth with World War II and like with the Nazis and things like that, and I don't really think that would have worked for the tone of the movie. So I think that was a good decision. Though I do like it's super sad what the Nazis did to the Jews, and I think the story should be told. I don't think that in a Captain America movie that's the time to tell it full, like just point blank, just have a movie all about that. I think that would hurt the film. So I think that decision was good, and to have those things in the movie, which they do, and like still focus on it, but not have that be the main, like, main thing was what the Nazis they wanted and all that stuff, because I think that would have hurt the film. I do think that, yes, people should be learning about what the Nazis did and Hitler and all that stuff so that we don't repeat history again, but I do think that it was a good idea to tone it back a little bit for this movie. Every scene involving skinny Steve Rogers had to be shot 4 times. This is what I was talking about with bulky and skinny Steve Rogers. This will be what I'm talking about in the video down in the description that I talked about. So the first time was just Chris Evans just acting like you normally would. The second time would be Chris Evans acting with a green screen behind him. The third time would be just the scene going without any people, without Chris Evans in it. And then it would be Chris Evans' body double, and the skinny one. And then they would shrink the body to make it look more skinny. And then, yeah. So Emily Blunt turned down the role of Peggy Carter due to scheduling conflicts. And I think that Emily Blunt would have done a wonderful job. I think that Haley Atwell did a wonderful job. Don't get me wrong, she did absolutely wonderful job. But I think that would have been really, really cool to see. Emily Blunt is a great actress, and I think that she would have done well at it too. Hugo Weaving didn't really like playing Red Skull, but he said it was a good experience, which, from what I've heard, is he's told people that other films that he's been a part of were terrible, and so I'm pretty sure that's a compliment from what it sounds like. So yeah, I from what it sounds like from the article that I read, he said that he's glad he did it. It's just he probably will never want to do it again. And then the last one is for the first film for this movie, Captain America: The First Avenger. Chris Evans got paid $300,000, and then it moved up to more money throughout all the films that he was a part of. So I don't think that $300,000 is that bad of a deal, but also compared to acting, that's a pretty small amount of money for a Marvel movie, but also is the beginning of Marvel, so once they got into the endings, he got like millions of dollars, so you get the small amount and then you might get the big amount, who knows. So that's all I have to say. I really enjoyed this movie, 100% recommend it, and I think it's a wonderful movie just to watch for fun, and I think that has great actors, great set designers, great costume designers, all that stuff was done really, really well, and I really enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day and stay safe. Bye!